Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure to have you today. Very glad to see you today. 5:30 to 6 usually for our talk. My name is Jonan Kandwanaho, and I'm the team leader at Jonaki Holdings Limited. And at Jonaki Holdings Limited, we offer credit, we offer financial relief, we offer loans, affordable loans in a very fast manner, in a very short time, and they are quite affordable. We basically do bridge financing. You have a consignment at the border post, we get to support you to acquire it or clear it in a very short time. So it's a pleasure to have you. I usually meet here with you every Friday from 5:30 to share about what the Lord has put on my heart, but also what we're actually doing at Jonaki Holdings Limited. And I immediately speak to people who lend money, people who are running financial institutions, microfinance institutions, and who lend money, and we learn from one another. As I've already said, if you learn one or two things and you do not apply it, then you might not be able to benefit of it. And ultimately, you might not benefit your colleague who is in the same industry or even a different industry. So some of these talks are intended not only for this industry, but also for other industries. So you can always catch up these videos on my YouTube channel, Jonan Kandwanaho. Just at Jonan Kandwanaho, my YouTube channel, you can get to catch it up and then subscribe, just like the video, leave a comment. If you have any particular area that you have interest in that you'd like me to talk about or share with you my experience on, I'll be very glad to share with you that experience. So just put it in the comments, someone will pick it, and then we shall take it on. Awesome. So I'll go straight to our today's talk. Our today's topic, which is the fair loan recovery methods or strategies. What are those key strategies or key methods that are fair to you as a lender, but also fair to the client who got the money from you? Because it has to be a balanced scorecard. Whereas it should be fair to you, the lender, it should as well be fair to the person you lent the money. It shouldn't press either of the sides. So you should be able to keep in business, but also the person that you're lending the money should be able to keep in business. So number one is you should automate your methods. You automate your systems. If you run any system, if you're lending money, it's important to automate your system. Automate your system. In automating your system, it means that the person can actually receive the email or receive the text message or receive a phone call without necessarily you following through. You just set it that, you know what, you phone or this system, call this person or text this person or email this person at 5:30 of every 30th of every month. Because you can imagine if your system is not automated and you have over 1,000 clients that you're serving, it becomes very cumbersome to contact all of them. And this actually does not apply to money lending alone, but also in other businesses. Once you automate, it becomes very easy on your side to do business. Why? Because you don't have to follow through manually. Meaning that if you have big numbers, it becomes a challenge to follow through manually. So automate your system. Automate your system. Automate your system so that it can ease communication. And in giving out money, it's important to actually tell a client that, you know what is your preferred method of receiving messages or receiving communication? It should be in your documents. It should be binding. Because if they specify an email, if they specify a phone contact or WhatsApp, then you should tailor it to that kind of mode. If that mode is not doable on your end, then you should be able to be flexible enough, and the client as well, so that they are notified well in time. It is important that you keep, whereas you automate, it is important that you keep relations with the client. As soon as the client gets the facility, find out, be courteous enough, or your staff, let them be courteous enough to find out, if I got the money to clear a certain consignment, was I able to actually clear it? If I went to buy that car, did I actually pay for that car? Was I successful? What challenges did I meet? Because it's unfortunate to think with one lens, that whereas you gave the person the money to actually clear the car, he got some challenges that you didn't come to know. Why? Because you didn't follow through. But when you actually come to follow through, even before the loan expires, that shows that you care to that client, you care to that person. You want to find out if what they got the money for, it actually did what it was meant to do. Or if not, how would you help? How can you support? You could be having some contact somewhere that can actually help this person. So what you do is that once I follow through and there's some bit of challenge and I can address it, why not? To give beyond giving money, I can actually support in other areas. So perhaps you have an expertise, you have a contact that can help this person, then you get to help. Why? Because you followed through. So establishing that relationship helps a person not to default on you. So whereas you automate, it's also important that you keep tabs with your clients immediately the loan is dispersed to find out whether the loan did the actual thing it was meant to do. And then you create, in that way, you create relations with the client. You create relations with the client. Point number 2 is embrace digitalization. Some of these things are digital. There are systems that can actually categorize for you, because you may need to categorize your clients high, mid, or low, or high priority, low priority, or mid priority in terms of collections, or terms of the loans that you're giving out, in terms of the amount of money that you're giving out. You may need to categorize them to ease the collections. There are some clients who may be in the categories of 100 million or 150, 130. You rate them separately from the ones who are in 50 million, 30, 40. And then you rate them separately from the ones who are in 1 million, 2 million, 5 million. So once you categorize them, then you can even know which team members to assign to what. There are some team members that are very good at collecting little money, but might not be necessarily gifted to collect mid or big monies. So in categorizing your money, you can know whom to assign what. Then it helps you a lot once you have such kind of categories. Now, if you have a system, it becomes very easy because I can actually select the range of the clients I'd like to look at, given the amount of money that I lent to them. And I filter them based on that category. Then it helps me to know which collections officer or which loans officer to assign what. But also, it is important that the loans officer that collects from the particular clients or from the very client is assigned from the point of dispatch. As I've always emphasized, the loan is good or bad at the point of dispatch. So you need to take extra care as you're dispatching the loans. Because if you get it wrong at the point of dispatch, definitely you've got the loan wrong. The recovery will still be wrong. If a fraudster filters through your system and gets the money, definitely the loan is bad at the point of dispatch, irrespective of the strategy or the method that you're going to use. Whether you attach a high-end relations officer or not, whether you attach a high-end loans officer or collections officer or not, the loan is bad at the point of dispatch. That's why it's important that the person who processes the loan at the point of start or at the point of dispatch, when the client is applying, is the very person that actually does the collection. Why? Because first of all, it helps the person to be accountable. That whereas I'm processing this loan for this client, I know ultimately that it's upon me to collect that money. So in the event that I jump any step or skip any step or intentionally do some funny thing, then ultimately I'm accountable for that facility. And also, as you're helping the client process that facility, you are creating some relations. So it's important that you do not throw a different person altogether to this client rather than the one who actually worked on them while they're processing the loan. Unless the client is rowdy or has some bit of, or is a fraudster or is a defaulter, then you actually have to engage other support or other collection agencies. So it's important the person who works on the client at the point of start establishes the relations with this client till the collections happen. So as you categorize the point number 2 is categorize. So as you categorize, of course, through the digitalization from your system, as you categorize, you can know whether medium, low, or high, based on the monies the clients have acquired, to know whom to assign. And then point number 4 is that you should always keep an open communication. To help you recover properly, you should have an open communication. That if I'm collecting a particular client and something happens, I should put a comment in the system or somewhere, or some notification or a WhatsApp group, because you could be a small company and perhaps you have not afforded a big system yet, or you have not afforded something a little advanced. So what do? Is you keep an open communication. You could actually even open a WhatsApp group where you put a comment based on the client that you're working on, that, you know what, based on what the discussion I've had with Jonan, it looks like he has promised to pay by Friday. Because you can imagine if you didn't communicate that and someone else has to follow through, just after you call, someone else will call from the same company and actually give a different figure from the actual figure that you actually gave as the loans officer. So it's important to have a clear and open communication, and that can actually be eased by the system that you have in place. So if you have a system in place that has a provision for reporting comments, after checking on Frank, I'll say that, you know what, Frank, our esteemed client, is promised to pay by Friday next week. So that means that if someone else comes, other officer comes to find out the update or to follow through with Frank, he will know that, you know what, I shouldn't actually bother Frank or call him midweek because he promised a Friday. So since the Friday has not reached, I don't have to contact him. So it helps, that open communication and systemizing the whole thing will help. It will help you a lot in your relations with the clients, but also in recovering the facility. Point number 4 is that it's important that before you engage another GIA or engage the debt collectors, it's important that you first talk to the client, establish where they're at as clients. It is very, very key. But kindly, it's a disclaimer that almost all these things do not apply to fraudsters, because this person has come purposely to defraud you. So the fraudster is handled differently. You have to tackle them from the word go, with a lot of energy, with a lot of effort, so that you can actually recover on them. But if it's a genuine person, if it's a genuine client, and you actually assess properly, you assess the history and everything, like I say in some of my videos, you look them up on my YouTube channel, Jonan Kandwanaho. If you assess them properly, from the point of application and all the assessment till the approval, then they should be genuine and good clients. Now, before you actually take on clients with a bailiff or debt collectors, whatever it is, because by the time it gets to that level, the thing has gotten out of hand, and you've basically almost lost the relationship a bit, because it's slightly tense. It's slightly tense with the client, and you're trying to recover, and there are a few clashes here and there. So, but before you engage at that level, it's important that you establish where the client is at. Some of the clients are genuinely having issues, and they do not actually communicate, which is a negative on the side of the client, because I always encourage open communication. If you're meant to pay today, Friday, and you meet a hiccup somewhere, somehow, it is important that you engage the person who gave you the facility. You know what, the deal I expected or the salary I expected on this date has not come through. So do you please hold up for the 3 days and even hold the interest somehow, or see how to manage it till I get the money. Communication is very key. So it's important to note that some of the clients are not good at communication. So you need to reach out to them to be empathetic enough to put yourself in their shoes. But you know what, when I give you this facility, the date is due. The system has notified you 2 days prior or 4 or 5 days prior. I've called you, I've engaged you, I've WhatsApped you. What is happening on your end? Some of the clients have genuine challenges, have genuine problems. So until you engage them and understand their point of view or where they're coming from or why they are defaulting, then you can actually come to realize that, you know what, I think it's a genuine challenge. Because it's a chain of supply. You might find that the person supplied maybe government or a particular company, but has not paid. And in a few days, it is going to pay. So you can imagine such a situation. You might not have to involve a bailiff or a debt collector. In that case, you actually need to be patient enough to this client, and then they can actually get the payment and pay you up. But until you take that position, or until you take that step to find out what's happening at the end of the client, it becomes a little tricky. So what am I saying here is that first, put yourself in this guy's shoes. If you assess them properly and they're genuine clients, their history was fine, their credit potential was high, and somewhere they experienced a challenge, it's important that you first understand them before you take any other collection measure. like engaging the debt collector or a bailiff for impounding the car, or for closing on the title, the land, first engage. And actually in the law, it requires that you actually engage. It is important that you engage before you actually tackle the client, or get foreclosed, or think of foreclosing on the item that they committed to you as a collateral. So that's a key point. Engage with an empathetic, supportive mind. There is engaging when the intention is to fight back and forth. Because if I come to you and I come in a fighting mode, what do you expect from the client? It definitely will be a fighting mode. So you have to go with a supportive engagement mode. Then the client will be reacting in a very cooperative way, and in a way you recover. I've seen some of the guys who recover with methods that are very interesting. When you have to get on the same page with the client, tell them the truth, engage them at a supportive point of view, unless the client has different intentions. Of course, those clients are also there. Because you can imagine, you can assess a client and everything is really fine, but somewhere, the client is rowdy, or he has some character issues. I must say that I'll give an example. I will not mention the name, but some of the clients that who commit a vehicle as a collateral, and before you know it, the person has sold a vehicle to someone else. And in trying to engage, the person keeps promising. But when you see the promises are not coming forth, and you're going to take action, you realize the person actually sold the car. So you can imagine this person had a good credit history. The person was very good. He even looked right and polite. But lo and behold, this guy sold the car to someone else. That is stealing. That is theft. Because that is defrauding. Because remember, he sold the car well aware that, I committed this car to this company and they gave me money. So it's important to look at it in that angle, that have a time at the back of your mind that, I'm engaging in this kind of period of time, that after a week or 2 weeks and the client is not responsive, or 5 days, then I have to take action. Because before you know it, you might find that the vehicle is driven out of the country, or even it is cut into different parts and sold as an engine and the body and all that. So you need to take a step as a lender, that as you're engaging, if nothing is coming forth, it is red flag. It is time to think of action. You cannot wait for 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks without any action and just hoping that the client will actually come through. No. Sometimes you need to take an extra step and say, you know what, can I have a look at that vehicle? Where is it if it doesn't have a tracker? And it's important that before you lend out, the vehicle or anything has a tracker in it. It is being tracked, because then it becomes cumbersome. I know there's a talk that you look it up, one of the videos where I shared on how to secure the collaterals, or how to manage such things. So the scenario I'm sharing with you, you find out the person sold the car. This is a person whom you thought is legit, who looked honorable, but lo and behold, he had character issues, and now he cannot actually pay you. He actually sold the car. He's defrauding you, and also defrauded the person he sold the car to. So it's important that you actually first be empathetic, put yourself in the client's shoes, but also do not do that for a long time, because after a week you need to find out what's happening. That's when you come to know when it's still early, so that you can actually know what step to take forward. So like 4 key things that you need to look at. There are quite a number of other things that you have to look at, but it's important that you master those 4 things. But above all else, as I close it, it's important that you plan. That if I'm going to take on a few clients in the lines of, let's say, Entebbe Road, then I may need to look at those clients in that line altogether to save on the time, but also to aid with the planning. So plan your collection methods or the strategies before the team goes to the field, or before the team follow through. Because sometimes also you need to visit. So all these things need to be planned prior, before you actually get to set out to the field. So as I close this, as you learn 1 or 2 things, go and implement. And you see, some of these methods apply even to non-money lending businesses. It could be a boutique, it could be a shop, it could be a production facility, and you perhaps give a credit and you need to recover. So it's important that you apply these methods to actually help you recover, because Who doesn't need relations with the client? Even if you're producing water, even if you're producing any other product, you need relations with the client. You need to engage them as soon as they get that product so that you can keep that relation. So it's key. This might not necessarily apply to money lending alone, but also in any other form of business. That's why it's important that as you learn these things, share with your colleagues, support them so that you can actually grow. Because as you progress, I'm progressing and we're all progressing. So I thank you for your time. I always look forward to serving you. I always look forward to working with you. They are open masterminds. I'm already running one, but it's ending. I have a few guys that I walk the journey with. You can always contact me, WhatsApp me, or email me, and we see how to walk this journey together. Kindly note that some of the services, I charge them. I do not offer them free of charge because I do not get them free of charge. So it's important that you pay for some of the services because it's only then that you can actually come to value them. I thank you for your time and I hope this helps. We are always available to serve you. You can always check us out at www.jonakeyholdings.com on our website, but also you can check out our contacts and we can bridge finance you. We can support you financially. And if you're running a business, I wish you the very best. May the Lord bless the works of your hands, cover you with his blood, protect you, guard you. And above all, go learn these things, apply them so that you can grow to the benefit of the community, of the people you're employing, and their families, and the country, and the world at large. See you at the top. See you as you progress and grow. Have a blessed Friday and enjoy the rest of the weekend. I love you all and God richly bless you. Bye-bye for now.